beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. It is your girl, Creatrix, and this is the world stage. I am a spiritual scientist and a spiritual investigative journalist, and I bring to you the most potent, prominent global energy that's happening at the present moment. Sometimes I pick up on the past and the future, but I try to keep the energy present, okay? And so, y'all know how I've been talking about how the Earth realm is actually a stage that is set up for a game. And here, we come here to remember who we are, what we're capable of, and the potential that we have to do other stuff, to gain other gifts, and, to be able to withstand different kinds of pressure and things like that, right? Well, today, I want to talk about some of the design of the game, okay, that the Most High created. And it's pretty simple what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the levels of this game and how every level is a setup for the next level. So in order for you to go through the levels, you have to finish what you started in a certain level. You have to achieve the goal or the purpose of that level in order to be even able to handle the new rewards, gifts, challenges, obstacles in the next level. So all of the levels are building up on top of each other's. If you are somebody, let's say you're at a lower level, right? And you maybe are still really plugged into the matrix and you're suffering from anxiety and depression. You're tired of the same old job, you're tired of your environment, you're suffering with mental health issues, and you can't really pinpoint what's going on. Well, the thing is that when we're stuck on a level and when we're not moving, when we're not evolving, all right, when our body is trying to give us signs and signals to pay attention to something, our mental health, our spiritual life, there are things that we need to do in a level to where sometimes we get distracted, right? And that's the name of the game, is to not be distracted by the external world. So our body and even our guides can create an environment where we become really stressed, really anxious, really depressed in order to push us in a certain direction. So what Western medicine has done, and I have to mention this, right? Because we're talking about distractions, right? What part of this game is getting past the illusions, right? So we have Western medicine, which is it has its purpose, right? Like, if you get hurt in this game, it's like an infirmary where you go to get patched up and stuff. That's what it should be. However, in this case, sometimes Western medicine can serve as a crutch or as a distraction, an illusion to keep us in a certain mind frame, right? In a certain level, to keep us in the box, right, that we're trying to break out of ultimately. So if you're somebody who's really plugged into the matrix and you go to Western medicine because you're having mental health issues or even issues with your body, right? It's not only your mental health that gets affected when we're not evolving, it's our actual body. We can generate diseases in our body. We can have stored traumas that manifest as pain in the actual body, because your body is trying to use pain to signal to you that there's something that you need to pay attention to, right? So, for example, I feel like talking about this, I am trying to heal my eyesight. For those of you who don't know me personally, you might not even know that I'm so nearsighted. It's even on my license. Like, I can prove it. I need glasses. They put it on my license, and I found out I needed glasses when I went to the DMV to get my license, I believe, or my permit. And when you go to the DMV or the place where you get your license, it's called different things in different states. You have to read a line of letters to see how well your eyesight is. That's when I found out that my eyesight was shit. This was like when I was 17. I remember I was in high school and I had no idea. I had trouble seeing the board, like in class and stuff, but I didn't realize how bad it was until I went and I got my permit. So then they were like, yeah, we can't give you your license. You need to go get glasses. So I went, I got checked, and they prescribed me some glasses. And from then on, I had been wearing glasses for a really long time, right? So I realized that, remember I was talking about the distractions and the crutches? Well, glasses are that, all right? They were that for me, at least. They had a purpose, right? They helped me when I didn't know any better, but now that I know better and now that I'm into holistic healing and health, I figured out that glasses can actually make your vision worse, and that is the opposite that I would like to do. So I stopped wearing glasses, right? And because I also changed my lifestyle and my diet, my vision has gotten better, but it's not where I want it to be. So now I am actively doing eye exercises where I'm training my eye muscles, and it's been working like immediately. I've only been doing it consistently for like the past few days, I'd say the last 2 days, but I've already seen improvement in not only like my eyesight and how blurry it is, but also in my facial structure, like the skin and the muscles around my eyes. They even look different when I look in the mirror. Like there's an improvement. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going and see how far this takes me. But this is just an example to say, like, you know, me having issues with my eyesight definitely was a reflection of me not paying attention to my intuition, me ignoring my intuition, my third eye, not using my imagination to the capacity that I could, because for a very long time I've always had a great imagination. Like I've always been able to visualize things in my mind, and I think we all have this gift, right? We're all capable of doing this, I believe. But I know that when I can manifest things through visualization very quickly, right? Like that's a talent that I have built throughout many lifetimes. And so me not using my visualization skills to my capacity, okay, which is a part of, it falls into the category of my third eye, my pineal gland, right? That's where that gift comes from, me exercising my pineal gland. If I don't exercise that, then it affects my eyesight as well, because our spiritual body is connected to our physical body and is connected to our mental body. All of those things are connected and are one. All right. You know how they say in the Bible that there are three parts to the Most High. It's the Holy Spirit, the Father, and the Son, right? And then in Kemetic spirituality, it's the Mother, the Father, and the Child, right? There's also the power of three, which is the mental body, the spirit, and the physical body, which are one when we're on this realm. Okay, so if you want to heal your mental body or your spiritual body, you can use your mental to do so. If you want to heal your mental body or your physical body, you can use your spiritual body to do so. If you want to heal your physical body, you can heal your mental and your spiritual body, right? Because they're all connected. When you heal one, you're healing the other, and it will manifest, right? Like you'll see it manifest in all of these different ways. But me personally, because I love manifesting quickly, I like to tackle all three all at once. Like if there's something that I need to manifest or do, if I need to push myself into a new level, I work on my physical health, mental health, and spiritual health all at once. All right. And that's honestly the best way to do things. All right. Things will happen for you quicker. You will get your results quicker. All right. So yeah, when we need to level up, we will feel it in different areas of our bodies, right? Like our emotional, physical, mental bodies, and our mental health will be affected in all these different ways, right? So that is our being as a whole signaling to us that we're ready to evolve. Like we need to keep going, because in this game, you cannot stay stagnant for long. Your spirit team is literally, when we're on this realm, we're in teams, right? That's what our spirit team is. And as you evolve, your ancestors also evolve within the game as well. So they have incentive to help you achieve the highest level that you can achieve the highest rewards that you can achieve. Why? Because they are going to come back in the same team, in the same lineage when it's their turn to reincarnate. So they want to come back in a better position than they were before, right? Which means that whoever's turn it is to manifest or to reincarnate into the earth realm, they are going to help that person as much as possible. Now, don't get me wrong, there are ancestors and people who are part of your team that are actually trying to hinder you. Okay, you can have backstabbers, you can have rats, you can have spirit guides that are just no good, downright conniving, right? But we're gonna save that story for another day, okay? Because it gets complicated out here, all right? But my point is just to say that if you are at a level, right? And in terms of the physical world, this is how we think about it. I have this job, right? I'm making this amount of money. I want to make more money, right? This is how we think about it in the physical realm. To somebody who's plugged into the matrix, this is how we think about it. Oh, I need to make more money, so I need to find a better job. Oh, let me go back to school, right? Let me get an education. This is a distraction. This is a distraction, okay? The way that the Most High would like us to play the game, all right? Because there's a man-made version, which is an illusion, and there's the original version, the way that the Most High made it, right? The man-made version at this moment in time is hijacking the Most High's version. It's not complementing the Most High's version, which it used to back in the days of like spiritual schools, and you have the mystery schools, right? In Kemet and all that complement the way that the Most High has designed the game. But now we have institutions and schools and things like that distract us away from the game, right? So in reality, when we want to level up, when we want more rewards, right? Which is a good thing. We should always want more. We should always want more and more and more. We should have an insatiable appetite of evolving, growth, opportunities, more. We should always want more. But with that, we should always strive to do it the correct way. Okay, and that's where the balance comes in. When we have players in this game who have an insatiable appetite for more, but they don't have a moral compass, values, ethics, or they just don't have an understanding of consequences, right? Cause and effect, then they will do really shitty things to get the same rewards that they would get if they did things the right way. But when you do things the shitty way, or when you take the path that is the most traveled instead of the path that's less traveled, you also are not able to maintain those rewards, because those rewards can't stick, right? Because the point, like I said, the point of these levels, the reason why they build upon each other is to help you maintain the rewards, right? So if you're somebody who says, oh, I want more money, and you go to school and you get an education, you get a bachelor's, let's say, and you didn't have one before, you get a bachelor's and you get a job and you get more money, there's an illusion, right? There's an illusion that you've done better, when really you could have done things the way that the Most High had originally planned for us to do, and worked on your internal self, right? And prepared yourself internally for more money, which is, how would you do that, you might ask? Okay, let's say the reason why you're at a dead-end job or you're tired of your job is because you don't have the discipline or the confidence to go out and get a better job. Well, now is your opportunity, right? In order for you to level up, now is your opportunity to go back into your memories, to your, life events, and try to figure out why it is that you don't have the confidence to go for more. Why is it that you don't have the discipline to learn more on your own? Why can't you, or what in your life is preventing you to have the self-esteem to be able to say that I have everything necessary in order to get more money? And even in fact, like, you might have a lack mentality telling you that I need to spend 4 years in college to get a degree, only to get paid $10 more, when if you took the path of the Most High and worked on your internal world, right, you would have been led to a situation where now you're making $1 million a year, or 2 million, or 3 million, or 5 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is it that you are limiting yourself? That's really what we need to be studying, not how to get a degree in a certain area to make $10 or $15 or $20 more an hour, right? That's an illusion, because when you work on your inner self, and you gain the true skills to be able to handle the rewards in the future levels, you will attract that, right? Because there is a system in this planet that's self-governing, self-sustaining, Nobody needs to tell the universe, oh, that person is ready because they've worked on their money management skills. They've worked on their ability to say no. Oh my gosh, my camera cut out when I was on a roll. So annoying. However, I think I remember where I was at, all right? So, what I was saying is that the real lessons that we need to learn and able to persist in this game is more so like, will you give your reward out to people who will be using you or mistreating you, or who will become lazy and not try to level up on their own? You know what I'm saying? So these are the things that we need to conquer. We need to conquer codependence on people. We need to conquer low self-esteem. We need to conquer low self-confidence. Our internal environment is what matters most in terms of getting to the next level. It's not necessarily, do I know math? Do I know, geometry or business skills or this and that? I mean, those things are important. And don't get me wrong, if you're called to pursue those things, do you have fun? However, what really matters is your internal world. Because okay, look, let's say athletes, for example, right? They get cash really fast, right? And this could be due to a contract that they sign. They can sign a contract with someone, and this is what the illusion does. This is what, like, evil people do, what we can call them, is they will give people contracts who are unsuspecting, who are naive, who are vulnerable, who have not built up themselves in order to have the discernment to be able to say, nah, I will do things the way that the Most High or my spirit guides are leading me to do it, instead of taking a small offer because it's coming in quicker. Do you get what I'm saying? So you have sports agents, or even like the music industry, for example, to where they will see that you have talent and try to covet. I'm picking up the word covet, try to covet that talent for themselves. Even though they cannot literally steal your talent, what they will do is that they will use your body in order to generate rewards for them, right? Because you've signed a contract, because you've gotten you want instant gratification versus being able to discern and listen to your spirit guides and your spirit team telling you not to go in that direction. Now, is it a strategy of some spirit teams and spirit guides to go that route? Like, let's say, you're an athlete in the spirit realm and you have talent and you want to go that route, to where you want to sign a contract with someone, or you're a musician and you want to sign to a label that's going to give you a 360 deal or some type of deal. Like, yes, that could be your path in life. It can definitely be your path. But if you're, because and it can be your path in life, because the Most High can use that to its advantage. Okay, the Most High can use any situation that you have to its own advantage. So that could be the case in that situation, if that makes sense. However, for the most part, most people do not want to take that shitty deal, because one, it's going to serve as a distraction. Instead of working on yourself, you're going to be focused on how to get more money, on pushing your body to the limit, right? And you have people in your ear who are distracting you from being by yourself, from meditating, from concentrating on your inner world, right? And then you have people who are depending on you because you didn't do the work to become codependent, or you didn't do the work to develop your intuition and your skills to be able to talk to your spirit guides to tell you who in your camp, in your surroundings, is using you, your family members, your friends from your past who are using you, who only act like they like you and want you because you have money now, and who are actually stabbing you behind the back. So we have this situation where there's a lot of young people in particular, or just vulnerable people, or people who would rather accept instant gratification than do the hard work, who end up reaping rewards, right? They actually get the rewards of the fame, the fortune, and all that, but then they end up losing it, or they get into a bad situation, or they can maintain it, but they're miserable. They're miserable. A lot of these rich people, right, that we see who didn't do the work, they are miserable even though they're rich. And that's why you get a lot of people that say, hey, like being rich really doesn't make you happy. I thought once I got this money, once I touched these M's, that I would be feeling better about my life, about myself. They're like, nah, it's a trap. It's a trap. Like somebody who comes to mind who says that is J. Cole. Like he had a whole album where he talked about how chasing money is literally a trap, right? But when you do things the correct way, or at least let me not say correct, when you do things, when you take the route, when you choose the route of the Most High, and you heal your internal world and you build yourself up from the inside out, you will be able to not only receive more rewards, right? You will get more rewards in the form of money, recognition, respect, fame, all of that stuff, but you will be able to maintain it correctly, and you will be happy where you are. You will have true fulfillment, joy. Okay, people in this realm see that money is empty if they don't have happiness. That is the true reward. Okay, you could be seeing the number 666. That, to me, when I interpret that number, what comes to mind for me is or decreasing the focus on materials, on material wealth. Okay, seeing wealth as a form of feeling complete or feeling good about oneself, okay? Feeling fulfilled. That is true wealth and joy, all right? And health, that is true joy as well. Being healthy, there are things that are way more important than money. And once you grasp that concept for real, you will be able to generate so much money in your life. Once you can truly say, I don't care about the money, that shit is going to be so attracted to you, right? So, yeah, so in this realm, everything is natural, all right? Just like nature is natural, right? And we built men, people, we built on top of nature a new world, right? This illusion, on top of nature. Nature is still there, but it's like we paved the roads, right? We cut down trees. We're building these cities. We live in these boxes, right? And I'm not here to give you the whole spiel. Like I love apartments. I love a home, a good home. I love all that stuff. I'm not saying it's bad, but what I'm saying is it can become a distraction from what's really important. And the way that the Most High created these levels, it's very natural. So once you complete a level, you roll into the next one. Once you complete a level, you roll into the next one. And as you go higher, it's different challenges. It's going to get harder, but it's not going to. If you complete the level before fully, then the next level will not be harder, right? That's why when people skip levels, when you have those people who get rich and famous really quickly, they have a hard time adjusting and maintaining to that level, right? And they end up losing it. They end up, because the term new levels, new devils is really real. If you are not at the humble level, I just heard the humble level, let's say the first level, right, where your spirit guides and your intuition is urging you to develop a sense of discernment, right? By tapping into yourself and developing your spiritual gifts, getting to know your spiritual gifts, okay? Being able to read minds and read energy, right? To see how who people truly are. Because like I said, in this realm, we're all wearing meat suits. You don't know who's a devil, who's an angel, who's a little bit of both, who's a vampire, who's a succubus, an incubus, a narcissist, a good person, someone who has genuine intentions. We don't see that because we're all wearing a meat suit, right? In the spiritual realm, when we're in our true form, all of that is out in the open. Like you don't even need you don't even need, anyways, you can tell, right? And when we're not wearing this meat suit, you can tell people who people are immediately. However, in this realm, we are meant to further develop our spiritual gifts because we won't be able to see people for who they truly are. In fact, some of the most beautiful beings on this planet are the most disastrous and harsh and chaotic, toxic beings, right? Because that's the name of the game. So, in order to fight those new levels, fight those new devils on those new levels, we have to be able to develop, we have to develop our spiritual gifts, or else what you're saying to the universe is, I don't care if I'm a lamb for slaughter. I don't care that somebody uses and takes advantage of me, right? And that's a self esteem issue as well. Like, we should want better for ourselves. We shouldn't be so desperate to sign deals and contracts with people who we know are not giving us what we're worth. All right. So it's very, very important. I cannot stress it enough that as players in this game, we practice patience and we practice the ability to be disciplined enough to actually finish all of the lessons, all of the things that we need to learn and able to be able to go to the next level. It's very imperative for our safety, for our peace of mind, in order to be winners. Okay, this is a long game. This is not meant to be quick. All right, that's why in this realm everything is so dense, right? It's to be able to really savor the moment, really savor what's happening, understand what's happening, right? That's why we are so dense and time exists. Time is actually there to support us on our journey, to help us on our journey, not for us to be bored and mad and want instant gratification. No, time is there to benefit us. All right. And it's time that we see time that way. All right. No pun intended. But yeah, so don't skip levels. Every level is very important. And also think about how you can do things naturally. And the way that you do things naturally is by always going inward. That is always going to be the answer. Always go inward. Okay. You can look for things externally, but you're just going to end up making a big circle right back around to where you started at. Because those people who gained the influence, the fame, the fortune, the money, right, taking the easy route, right, without developing themselves, they are going to end up right back where they started, square one, and have to do it again the right way. Because, like I said, they won't be able to maintain the rewards that they receive, and they won't be able to withstand the pressure, because new levels, new devils, there's more obstacles and more challenges that they are going to be facing that they didn't build a foundation for to be able to withstand those challenges. They didn't build that foundation in the previous level, so they're going to crumble when they reach those high levels. Do you get what I'm saying? So they're going to tumble right back down to the level where they're actually at, and the level to right before they made that huge skip and jump, right? So, like I said, when so I made a post previously, and I talked about how people who are famous and who are born into wealthy families, like, it might seem that in this realm they have a huge advantage, right? It might seem that, it's not fair to those who are low income, or who are struggling, who are in worn torn areas, who are in third world countries, who are suffering from all this trauma and abuse and stuff like that, right? It might seem like when you're born into such a low vibration that it means that you have more of a hurdle or a struggle to get to the top. But the secret is, and it says this in the Bible, it says that it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to get into heaven. This is what the Most High meant. The Most High is telling you that when you are born into a situation where you already have the reward, where you don't have to do the work, right? Those people are going to be in for a rude awakening, because it's truly, the wealth is in the lessons, the wealth is in the obstacles. Because those people will have to deal with things that they are not equipped for, because their bloodline, right? the wisdom is not in their DNA, because maybe a family member made a deal with an entity to bring them fortune and fame, and so now that child that's born into that family gets to reap the benefits and the reward of that deal. However, they will have to continue the sacrifice, because no entity is going to say, oh yeah, you made a deal with me for one time, yeah, you do the sacrifice one time and then you're good. No, that entity is going to suck you dry, and it's going to suck that lineage dry. Okay, so you're going to have to keep renewing the contract with the entity to keep the fame and fortune. So that person who's born into that family that's getting the wealth and all of that automatically off the bat in this earth realm is going to have to suffer those consequences. And if they don't change, if they don't evolve to say, you know what, I'm going to do it the right way from square one, and I don't care that this entity is threatening to kill me, I trust the Most High will protect me because I choose the path of the Most High. Now my contract is with the Most High instead of this evil entity that's sucking my lineage dry. You know what I'm saying? So that person will still have to go back to ground zero, right? Because there's no other way, like to skip levels, you have to make a deal with an entity, and that entity will create an illusion of winning, right? It's not true winning. So there's no way to actually skip steps. Like, it's law. It's law. Like, the Most High did not create a loophole or anything like that, to where you can actually win without having to do the work. There's only an illusion of winning. So those people that start off, they're born into families who are considered poor, there's a lot of abuse and mistreatment and all of that stuff. Those people actually have the most potential, because in an environment where it is so shitty, so terrible, if you can, listen to me, okay? Because I'm not trying to be insensitive to people who are in difficult situations. I'm trying to help people get out of a victim mentality and actually win. If you can even make the slightest change to perceive your differently, all right? If you can internally, I'm talking. So it doesn't matter what your body looks like, or even the way your mental capabilities. Maybe you were born with a um a condition that doesn't allow you to think the way society deems as normal, okay? If you are able to do what you can to change your perspective and heal that trauma within, right? You will shoot up so freaking quick through these levels. Like I said, once you gain the momentum, the levels are designed. Once you understand, the levels are designed to keep pushing you through. The levels are designed to give you and build that momentum. It's a self-sustaining game once you plug into the Most High, right? The way that the Most High designed it, the momentum is just going to carry you. It's just going to take you, especially when you really build that foundation of being able to talk to your spirit guides and talk to your team and make a connection with your team. Trust me. And then you surrender, you become obedient to them, all right? To where you trust their judgment, right? And they take you on this ride and you just become obedient. Boy, oh my gosh, it is going to be so beautiful no matter where you've come from. And I'm telling you, what we deem as the worst situation could really be the best option for you. And that's why so many entities, so many of us souls, before we reincarnate into this realm, that's why we decide to be in the shittiest situations, because really those situations can propel us into the version of ourselves that's ready to receive the most rewards and the most gifts, the most everything, right? That's why we strategic. It's a strategy that we use, but there's a risk, right? There's a risk because we can get caught up in this realm in the illusion of, I'm poor, oh, I'm a victim, my dad did this to me, oh, my mom did this to me, oh, we can get caught up in that. But if we can just see the truth, there is so much to be gained, right? There's so much rewards to be gained. And I know a lot of y'all are thinking, like, how am I sitting up here and you might be thinking I have it all, or at least I have something, or I'm not in a situation, this and that. I have been through it all. I've been through it all. I had to learn the hard way. All right. I am the most high. I had to learn the hard way. Every situation that you could think of, I had to go through it. Okay. Torture, abuse, mutilation, all right, violation, all of that type of stuff. I had to go through it. All right. Before I could sit here and tell you how you can get through it. Right. So it is so imperative. I can't stress it enough how important it is to focus on the inner world and realize that everything, the way that the Most High constructed everything, is meant to benefit you. All right. No matter what it looks like on the outside, no matter what people tell you about your situation, no matter what, you know, the news says about how you are living and judging you on what your surroundings look like. You have to be able to listen to your inner world and connect with your spirit guides, develop your spiritual gifts. That's where you should start at as ground zero, is getting to know your spirit team. That is the most important. All right. So I feel good about stopping there. I love you all so very much. I hope this was helpful, and I will see y'all in the next video. Creatrix out.